Hello, friends, and welcome to Bottle and Bond, a discussion of the James Bond movies and lore alongside spirited companions. I am Mike Scott, and I have been watching James Bond movies for nearly 30 years, but have never really taken a deep dive into the history and lore of this film franchise. So, alongside my friend Charlie, we are going to delve into each of the 25 Eon produced movies. During this episode, we will be enjoying a beverage or two that would pair nicely with the movie. Today, we will be discussing the 13th movie in the franchise, 1983's Octopussy. So find your cigarette case, prepare your favorite cocktail, shaken not stirred of course, and leave your hat at the door while we ponder this question. Is this movie the all-time low? This is episode 0013, Octopussy. Charlie, welcome.
Thank you, Mike.
Sacrificing yourself today with your illness.
I know. I'm not sure I sound good to everyone else, but I do this for me, and I don't have to go listen to it after it's done. So, and I noticed that you said in the intro there, speaking of not listening to it once it's done, because then I'd have to listen to myself, which I don't even want to do on a good day. You said you've been watching these movies over 30 years, and I was thinking to myself, just last week was my 35th anniversary at work of my job. And so I would guess, so I started when I was 20, just the day after I turned 23.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I was watching Bond movies for at least 10 years before that. So probably 45 years.
Those
I know.
Those are inconceivable numbers.
Just,
so before I was born, well, we say that all the time. You are almost old enough to be my father, so.
Yes.
In my world, you are.
I mean, probably technically I am old enough, right?
On my family tree, there probably were fathers at the age of 14. That wouldn't surprise me. Talk about the companion beverages today. We're going to be having Amroot Indian Whiskey.
That's good.
And we're going to be having Radeberger Pilsner. We went within a beer that was brewed in East Germany, since a lot of the action takes place in East Germany.
It does, which is somewhere I've been. East Germany.
Of course you have.
And it was technically still East Germany, although it was not communist East Germany when I was there.
One item of news today, they released an extended gameplay video of the new James Bond video game, 007 First Light.
This is a modern video game?
It is.
Okay.
It's kind of looks like Grand Theft Auto in terms of how the third person kind of view of stuff.
Okay.
It was interesting. I'm not super hyped about it. I'd rather have a first-person shooter, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably end up playing it, though, because, I have
Why wouldn't you?
Research. I have to do it for the research. So let's do the plot summary. When some clown is killed stealing an egg, James Bond is sent to Sotheby's to find out who is interested in reclaiming the Fabergé egg. After clowning around with government money at an auction, 007's investigation leads him to pursue Kamal Khan in India, where he is assisted by local tennis pro Vijay. Clowning around in the streets of Udaipur, Bond and Vijay escape and plot their next moves with ED sufferer Q. Bond meets Khan's companion Magda, and after some slap and tickle and clowning around, he discovers further answers may lie with the mysterious Octopussy. Bond infiltrates Octopussy's lair via crocodile, has some slap and tickle with her, and clowns around the grounds, eventually discovering the plot between Khan and Russian General Orlov to destroy a U.S. military base with a nuke. Bond then clowns around West and East Germany, hoping to foil Orlov's plan. He eventually goes full clown to stop the bomb. Octopussy, discovering she has been duped by Khan, attacks his base with her gang of female warriors. Bond and Q arrive around the world in less than 80 days. Q possibly gets his own slap and tickle, and Bond rescues Octopussy, defeats Khan, and yes, once again, finishes the movie clowning around on a boat. Octopussy.
Boy, I see that the clowns really made an impression on you, Mike. Also, infiltrating Octopussy's lair, could mean many things.
Euphemism.
Yes.
So we'll take a stop here and just mention the shirt that Charlie's wearing. I'll post a link to it on the show notes. He recently celebrated a birthday, and some very nice, very lucrative, successful podcast host got him a couple of T-shirts because, of course, Charlie wants to be the villain. So he is wearing the Stromberg Shipping Lines T-shirt. It's the one that's got the fish that with like the checkered pattern on it. It's a really cool looking logo.
Oh, I loved it. And when they're in that ship, that logo is right. He's got, Stromberg has that big chair in that huge room with all the screens in front and everything. And they has that big fish logo is right behind him. I love the fish logo.
It looks really good.
Yeah. And thank you for the birthday present.
You are welcome.
Mr.
You only turned 70 once.
Thanks.
So our cast. Roger Moore as James Bond. This is his 6th of 7 appearances. Maud Adams as Octopussy, who most people that have been going through this journey will recognize her as a character from The Man with the Golden Gun. Louis Jourdain as Kamal Khan. Christina Wayborn as Magda. Kabir Bedi as Gobinda. Stephen Burkoff as General Orlov. We have Desmond Llewellyn as Q, 11th of 17 appearances. We have Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny, 13th of 14 appearances. Robert Brown as M, 1st of 4 appearances. Walter Gotell as General Gogol. He's in here so much now I have to mention him too. 4th of 6 appearances. Actually his 5th overall appearance because he was Morzani in From Russia with Love. Jeffrey Keane as the Minister of Defense. Vijay Armitage as VJ, creative character name for him. Tina Hudson as Bianca. And David and Tony Meyer as Mishka and Grishka, the knife-throwing twins. Surprisingly, it wasn't like split screen. It was actually 2 separate people doing this.
Okay, right. It wasn't like the identical cousins on the Patty Duke show.
Right. Directed by...
Was that another episode of Charlie is Much Older Than Mike mentioning the Patty Duke show?
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
A show that's in black and white.
I actually did just watch a Patty Duke movie called Valley of the Dolls.
Oh,
She was one of the leads in that, and she was pretty good.
I like Patty Duke.
Yeah. You know who her son is?
No.
Recently elected SAG-AFTRA President Sean Astin of Goonies and Lord of the Rings fame.
I did not know that.
There you go.
Wow.
He was adopted by John Astin, who
she was Patty Duke Astin. Yeah, that's right.
John Astin was Gomez in the original Addams Family TV show. This is an episode of, wow, Mike really does know old stuff.
Oh my gosh, he really does, you guys. Trust me.
Crew, directed by John Glenn. Once again, not the astronaut. This is the 2nd of 5 by John Glenn. As we said, he does all of the Bond movies in the 80s. Screenplay by George MacDonald Fraser, Richard Maibaum, and Michael G. Wilson. Music by John Barry. Cinematography by Alan Hume. And production design by Peter Lamont. Theme song, All Time High by Rita Coolidge. Music by John Barry. Lyrics by Tim Rice. Does that name ring a bell?
It does. Did he do Jesus Christ Superstar?
I think he did. I remember him from working with Elton John on Lion King.
Oh, okay.
But I think you are correct that he also did that.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff, I think. All Time High, debatable.
We'll get to that, yeah. Release details. This premiered June 6, 1983 at the Odeon Leicester Square. This opened June 10th, 1983 in the United States.
Sorry, Craig.
At a budget of $65.5 million and a worldwide box office of $524.8 million. Good for 21st of 25. Both numbers adjusted for inflation.
Well, that's not too high up on the list, is it?
No. But it's not the all-time low. So.
No.
So what's your history? Did you see this one?
Is this the one that came out the same year as Never Say Never Again?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Which is weird, right?
It is.
Because competing Bond movies, which also had, what's his name in it? Sean Connery.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So Sean Connery at the same time. That's pretty weird. I did not remember all that much about this movie.
Yeah.
And I do remember a lot of Never Say Never Again. So interestingly, like I've said, back in our day when we didn't have the internet, no one understood the difference between
Yeah.
who made these movies or what was the official movie and not the official movie and all those things.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was so excited to see Connery back that I feel like that's the one I saw. I have seen this, but it didn't stick in my memory all that much.
I'm going to guess, too, you may have been possibly influenced by your father, right? He probably, Sean Connery was his Bond, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I remember that one much more than this one.
And yet, I have still never seen that one.
I mean, you have to.
Stay tuned.
Come on.
Episode bonus 1.
Right.
Or episode bonus 1 will be Casino Royale 1967, which that's going to be rough to get through.
That might be.
Just watching the trailer.
But we're going to have to.
Yeah,
I mean, because what are we going to do when we get to the last movie, Mike?
Yeah.
We can't just stop talking about things that other people have to listen to.
Yeah, once we get to the last movie, I'm going to be a wreck. So just warning everybody now.
Yeah. And our wives are done listening to us, so we
Yeah.
need other people to listen to us. So we'll find something to talk about.
All right, let's go to the scene-by-scene breakdown. So we're in some unnamed Latin American country. Bond is there horsing around. I'm pretty sure, that was just old man Roger Moore. He's probably just taking his horse for a trot, and they told him he was going to be Bond again. So they just started filming.
In that very interesting convertible Land Rover.
Yeah, he looked like a very old man in that part with him driving the car with that hat and everything. He just looked like a really old man.
Yeah.
And
then he gets a really, really convincing fake mustache that his assistant puts on him.
Before that, though, we do see Fidel Castro making a brief appearance. I mean, that had to be who that was supposed to be.
Well, okay, so my first thing was, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, they must be in Cuba. And then obviously things happen which lead me to believe they could not have been in Cuba. But yes, we do see Fidel Castro.
So his sidekick in this is Bianca. She's going to be helping him infiltrate the hangar by putting on that fake mustache. He's just, doing a Clark Kent. And it changes one aspect.
She doesn't even put it on all that straight, and it really drove me crazy. I'm sure that they just needed to film that scene. She puts it on there, and then obviously they reapply it and everything. But yes, it bothered me that it did not look straight.
Brief note about Bianca. That is Tina Hudson. She was 17 years old filming this scene.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
She did not look 17.
She did not look 17, and it makes something that Bond says a little later a little creepy, if you know that.
Right, but she does not look 17. No. And she's obviously not playing a 17-year-old character, but yes, she looks more mature than that.
I mean, she was barely 17, and I think barely dressed for that car scene. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Look it up, kids.
Did you notice that his jacket he put on to go into disguise, he had a reversible jacket on? Do you see he was pulling the sleeves out?
I did not.
Yeah. So he takes off his sport coat that he's in the car with.
Okay.
And then he's pulling out the arms of the jacket to reverse it. And in theory, I doubt the real prop was the reversible jacket.
Yeah.
But it's leading you to believe he had this jacket on and he just reverses it. And now it's that military uniform.
Interesting.
Which I thought was interesting. And I think the hat also, he flipped the hat over because there was nowhere to fit a fake uniform in that gigantic Land Rover.
Is this the only time we actually see Roger Moore wearing a hat throughout his run? I think it might
be. It doesn't happen much if it happens.
He tosses a hat on a rack a couple times for some.
He does, but you don't actually see him with it on. Like you just see the hat come into the scene usually.
Yeah.
He did well. His hair, right, was probably more mess upable.
Yeah.
Than Connery's fake hair.
I mean, wigs are toupees are easier to keep down. So Bond's walking around the warehouse, seeing various, gadgetry, just making gadgety noises. The guy that he's impersonating is named Toro, which means bull. And I believe there was a joke about that at some point where Bond says no bull or something like that.
He says something like that's a load of bull. It sounds like a load of bull or something. Yeah.
And the guy they did a good job casting that guy. He looked like Roger Moore. That was good.
He really did.
So Bond is caught in the act of the sabotage of the hangar. I don't know exactly what he's trying to blow up, but...
Well, that weird-looking, I guess, radar-y neon radar thing that's going up and down making goofy computer noises.
Yeah. Something bad.
Yeah. It's some kind of advanced weapon system that was about to be sold. It's convenient that the horse show is right next door to the military base where this is happening.
Yes.
Thank goodness that for that scheduling.
Bianca sees Bond is captured and being taken away in a truck, so she pulls alongside. And remember, this 17-year-old actress is hiking up her dress to try to distract the soldiers.
You're making it sound worse
yes.
now. I know. She is. And, you know, she clearly isn't wearing anything under that very low-cut blouse either.
Right.
I know.
And
it
Bond,
was a different time, Mike.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Bond is egging the soldiers on, and like, hey, take a look at that, you know? And eventually they're distracted enough that Bond grabs both of their chute releases, and their parachutes come up, and they just get pulled out of the back of the car.
Why are they wearing parachutes on a truck?
But we'll never know.
But it is actually a very cool thing, right? I loved it, how they just got pulled out.
We haven't even got to the credits, and Charlie's ruining the movie.
That is what I do, Mike.
Although, in fairness, I may have shown my hand when I started the plot summary.
Yes.
Okay, so they're driving around. A bunch of chickens just about got obliterated by this truck.
I was seriously wondering if any animals were harmed in the making of that movie.
Eventually, Bond gets into the other truck and
into the trailer.
Before that, he gets into the car with Bianca, and Bianca's flashing a smile at the guys in the front, and we got one general that looks like a total perv, like smiling at her and stuff. And then Bond comes up and guns him down. Bond then gets back to that trailer. He's going to ride his horse away, clearly. Oh, wait, no.
He pulls the pin on the trailer so that the car, she keeps going.
Yeah, but an airplane comes right out of the horse's patoot.
That horse's butt flipping up into the air was amazingly awesome.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
This is called a BD-5J Acrostar. It had a 17-foot wingspan. It only weighed 450 pounds.
Wow.
And it had a top speed of 320 miles per hour. So that's a cool little plane. It's just like
it is. I mean, the flying scenes, it looked very cool.
Yeah. And the guy that built it, his name was Bede, was his last name.
Okay.
Bond, takes off. He flies under a bridge over rubble and water.
Wow.
That was a stretch. And eventually they fire a missile at him. And I read that the missile was obviously the plane was a model for some of the flying scenes,
right.
And they just tied a firecracker to the back of it. So the missile that's following the plane is just a firecracker.
Yeah, I mean, I think presumably a missile is generally faster than an airplane, but I don't know. But it was a good scene. Yes. I mean, it was fun to watch scenes where he's trying to evade that missile.
So he leads the missile into the warehouse, and the warehouse blows up, and then he goes off. Real quick, talking about the warehouse, I don't want to forget about this.
Oh, yeah.
So they put the plane... They took a Jaguar, they took off its top, and they put a mount on it, and they mounted the plane so that it was angled sideways. So going through the warehouse, it was being driven on a car, because obviously you can't do that with people in there and stuff. So,
oh no, people would have died.
It going in and it coming out, that was real. That was the real plane. But then the scene in the warehouse was the car pulling it along. It looked pretty good.
They couldn't have made that plane go sideways and come out those doors, though, right?
No, they did. Yes,
really?
But obviously there was nobody in there,
right?
Because they couldn't do that. But yes, that plane did actually do that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Well, when they film it, clearly the plane is going slower through that warehouse than it would in real life. It would be through there in the snap.
I believe I read the plane was going 75 miles an hour.
Wow.
Or the car was.
Yeah.
So Bond lands the plane at a gas station, and we get our first quip where it just says, "Fill her up."
Nice.
And then we go to the opening credits. I know you have some thoughts on the opening credits, but starting with the song, this song is just an absolute snoozer of a song.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it. It's better than Moonraker as a song.
Maybe.
But it's not my favorite. It's sort of... I could do without it.
I mean, it sounds like a song for a Lifetime made-for-TV movie or something.
I'm also not sure exactly what it has to do with the movie.
I don't know.
I didn't notice anything in it about All Time High that made me think of the movie. But whereas like Goldfinger smacks you right in the face, right?
Right.
But this one, I mean, yeah, it was not memorable.
It hasn't been a great run on the theme song since... nobody does it better. You know, you got Moonraker, okay.
I mean, For Your Eyes Only was decent.
I know your wife loves For Your Eyes Only.
I like For Your Eyes
It's
Only.
okay. But
it's
still,
way better than this.
Well, yes, I will
This
agree.
song apparently was popular during our time. My wife remembered it, and I did not remember this one at all. To me, it didn't make an impression. And I also feel like they're really getting bold on the naked ladies in the opening credits, aren't they? They're not holding back too much. It used to be like very black silhouettes, and they're getting to the point where they're really like, you know,
I think
getting
it
close.
starts to cool off here pretty soon.
I would imagine.
Not with the next one, though. Okay, so now after the credits, we go to East Berlin. We're clowning around over in East Berlin.
Oh, man.
We see some guy dressed like a clown trying to escape from a circus, and he's being tracked by the Doublemint twins with their sword throwing.
We don't realize there are two of them at first.
Right,
until
yes,
it gets
you only
caught.
see one, yeah. But it was a missed opportunity for him to pull out like a seltzer thing and just spray one of them in the face and run off. I would have liked that.
Okay, question.
Yes.
If you're running away from these guys, first of all, I ditched the shoes. I ditched the big red fuzzy hair, which would take a half a second to take off. Mm-hmm. I would ditch the balloons that I'm pulling behind me. I would ditch all kind of stuff. But also, that guy, for being a 00 whatever, looks terrified for some reason of these guys. Like, if you're this big spy guy, why do you look that terrified?
Yeah, because we didn't say it, but that's Agent 009.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
I ruined the surprise.
So, yeah, he gets into a little scuffle, but then he gets away, and he does eventually, one of the guys throws a knife, hits him in the back, falls into the water, and he floats downstream. And, you know, we all float down here.
Wow. You know, how convenient was it that they were having a circus just upriver from the British Embassy?
Oh, yeah, so he arrives at the British ambassador's residence or whatever, and
where they're having a party so easily he sneaks in, because it's that easy to sneak into the British ambassador dressed like a clown with a knife in your back.
Yeah. So I don't know who the clown thinks he is, but he crashes the dinner party, drops an egg as he crashes through the glass.
Yes.
And
not just any egg. We'll see.
Yeah, a Cadbury egg.
Right.
Now we're back at MI6. So Bond once again has that hat that he throws on the rack that we never see him wearing.
Yep.
Here we are introduced to, of course, Moneypenny, but also we see Moneypenny's assistant, Penelope Smallbone. This is played by Michaela Clavel, daughter of James Clavel, writer of the famous book Shogun.
Really?
Yes.
Had he written it at this time?
Yes. Shogun, I think, came out in the 70s. So, yeah, I think the TV series had already come out.
So maybe he's like buds with one of the producers of this movie or something,
So Penelope...
She does look young.
She does look young.
She does look young.
Clearly a Nepo baby.
Yeah.
She never appears again in the Bond movies. So I think there was maybe a thought that, Lois Maxwell's probably about done.
Right. She might be the next one.
But didn't happen. And honestly, I can't remember the next Moneypenny. So we'll see.
I can't either. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
So now we officially have our new M. That's Robert Brown. He's in there with the minister and a guy by the name of Jim Fanning, who's an art expert. So it's here where they talk about the Fabergé egg. Like I said, when I was younger, I used to always get it confused with the Cadbury egg. It's like, what's so special about these? They just have some weird creamy center. But
how does that make them worth millions of dollars?
But they're actually very, very well crafted, jewel pieces that this one guy named Fabergé made for like the Russian royalty and stuff. So they're very highly regarded. Fabergé does still exist to this day, but now they just make watches. So
really,
yeah, I'm looking forward to us getting a Fabergé sponsorship. I'll take a Fabergé watch. I got to get rid of this watch that keeps telling me to stand up all the time. I just want a normal watch.
But they don't make Brut by Fabergé.
No, they do not. So they're trying to figure out, or ultimately it's discovered that this egg is a fake. It's a really good fake, but it is a fake. So they're trying to figure out where the forgeries are coming from. Is it the Russians? Are they doing it to raise currency?
Yeah, and they don't even know why they're worried about this egg, other than I guess it was on that spy, and they think, well, it must have had something to do with some investigation. He was, right, it must be important.
Yeah, so Bond...
But you don't really understand what the plot is quite yet.
Right. So Bond is given Operation Trove, which he's going to be replacing that clown 009 in East Germany.
Gosh.
Now we move to this really cool Russian command center. This was an awesome looking set.
I loved it, and I have comments.
Yeah. Well, first off, they're discussing NATO with Leonard Bernstein. Oh, wait, no, it's Leonid Brezhnev.
Yes.
So Gogol's there, not with a lady for once.
Right.
Poor Gogol. Then we have General Orlov. This guy's clearly a psychopath. You can see it in his eyes.
Oh, yeah.
He's ready to attack Western Europe, and he's convinced that NATO will not counterattack with nukes.
So it is interesting. So first of all, that room is super cool.
Yes.
And it's got that round like table they're sitting at kind of in their chairs. And behind them is a giant map.
Yeah.
So when Orlov stands up to tell them about his plan, so Gogol is talking about how they should just basically maintain the peace.
Yes.
So the interesting thing is they're making out the Russians to be both the good guys and the bad guys in this movie, which I thought was fascinating.
Gogol wants them to focus on domestic improvement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they turn the whole table and chairs a quarter turn and open the wall to display another much smaller map.
Yes.
I guess.
Of just like Western Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had a giant map behind them,
Yeah.
but we can't show this on that map. We're going to open this
is the
other
zoom
map.
in map, so we can see exactly where he wants to completely
So
destroy
he
the
shows that with, 9 military units, they can,
Yeah.
take over Europe or whatever. But I did think it was funny. They have to open up the door to show a different map.
So Gogol and Orlov are kind of jabbering back and forth. So Leonard Bernstein gets up and says, "Gentlemen, this is the war room. You can't fight in here."
Right. Exactly.
Oh, wait. No, I'm getting that confused with another movie.
Which people should also see.
Oh, yeah. So now we have Orlov visiting the egg counterfeiter. And he is there telling the guy, and Khan's there too, right? Do we see Khan there? I think Kamal Khan's there. If not, they meet up later. But Orlov advises that guy that the original egg needs to be returned. They need it back so they can keep making forgeries. So now we go to Sotheby's in London.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want to auction off the real egg. He was obviously going to auction the fake one or something, right? So he needs it back to go to the auction.
Yeah. So we're in Sotheby's in London. The real egg's up for auction.
Where they tell their person, we have to buy that back. We can't let the real egg get out because someone will figure that out.
The guy that's there with Bond believes it'll fetch between 250 and 300 pounds. That's pretty. 250,000 to 300,000 pounds, which is really heavy. I don't know how you're going to carry that around.
I know, right?
At this point, they're going to start the auction, and they say it's the property of a lady. The property of the lady is a reference to the short story that this, literally just this scene is based on. Bond goes to an auction to see if Russians are infiltrating, trying to make money to finance their whatevers. It's
a tiny thing in the book becomes kind of the basis for the plot in this movie, but it's
insane how like the two sources for this movie literally are barely part of this movie.
Wow.
So
wild.
Yeah.
But they obviously said, selling an egg to finance this activity, we can use that and build something around it.
Yeah, and there was something about a whole like Soviet double agent in the short story that was basically, it would have confirmed that they were a double agent if the egg sold to a certain person. So that was the gist of the short story. And that was it. It was all in that Sotheby's, and that was the story. That was crazy.
Wild.
So Bond notices the bidding is going higher, and then he decides to play a bit of chicken with another bidder by the name of Kamal Khan. Bond bids 425,000 pounds, and the guy that's with him is like freaking out because, like, did you really just do that?
Right, like where are you going to get that?
Bidding goes up again, so the auctioneer asks 475, and Bond asks to look at the egg. And he picks it up in his hand and puts it under. He does
the worst sleight of hand I have ever seen.
Yeah. Very subtle.
Yes.
But Bond goes ahead and bids the 475, and then that gets Khan to bid 500,000 pounds. And Khan wins it. So Bond then checks out Kamal Khan and Magda leaving, and sends an agent to follow them.
In a Mercedes 600 Pullman.
Nice. That's what I
limo.
had here. Yeah. Khan has 2 cars in this movie. That's one of them. The other one we'll see later is the 1934 Rolls-Royce Phantom II Sedanka DeVille.
Nice.
Yeah. Back at MI6, M is incredibly pissed at Bond for almost spending $475,000 on an egg. But Bond, like we said, very subtly switched the fake out for the original, so Bond has the original egg. We go back to the guy that Bond sent to tail Khan, and we see that Khan's flying off to India. And we're going to stop there for our drink.
All right.
Because we're heading to Udaipur, India.
To Station I.
Station I.
Nobody could decode that.
Yeah. We are back with our drink.
Yes, we are.
We have Amroot Indian Single Malt Whiskey. This is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, whiskey in India.
Oh, interesting.
Which was
What age is that?
They were founded in 1948. So
Okay.
I believe India became independent in like 46 or 47.
I think so.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Smooth, very
It is
scotchy.
smooth. I was gonna say it does taste a little scotchy.
So yeah, that's a
It's
good
good.
one.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, I like it.
So we're now in Udaipur in India. Bond arrives on a boat. There is a snake charmer on the side by the water, playing the 007 theme.
Yeah, I know he does play that. Well, you notice, and Bond looks up when he hears it. That must have been signal.
Yeah, so I guess the theme song is in this universe.
Right, it's meta, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows that is the song. I guess if they got the Close Encounters song in there in the one movie.
So we have our first Bruce sidekick of this movie, Vijay. This is Vijay Armitage, and he was a professional tennis player that had just started getting into acting. I read his career. He didn't win any like big titles. He did a lot of like doubles and stuff too. Mm-hmm. But I'm just gonna say it now. I loved him in this. I loved his character.
Yeah.
I mean, acting wise, you could kind of tell maybe he was an amateur actor, but he was still fun. He had a great smile. A very fun little scene later that we'll get to.
I thought he was good, and I love his comment in here when we get to it.
Yeah. So we're at the hotel. Bond gets some swanky accommodations, including a woman that's ready to, do whatever he wants if he's interested. And he says, perhaps later.
And he checks the room carefully for various traps or listening devices by picking up the telephone and looking at the bottom of the telephone and doing nothing else.
Yeah.
I guess they've given up on that whole thing of the things in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Because there was one time where he carried a whole device around the room and looked for everything. But if you just pick up the phone and look at the bottom of the phone, you're good.
I mean, when's the last time Bond put a strand of his hair on a door to make sure whether somebody came
I know,
in?
it's been a while, hasn't it?
We now see somebody by the name, I actually mentioned her earlier. She was with Kamal Khan. Her name's Magda. She's arriving on a boat that's rowed by a bunch of women. And that boat was really cool. It was kind of inspired by a real boat that the crew had seen. So Bond eventually goes to the casino where he's watching somebody play backgammon. You ever play backgammon?
I have not. I feel like I should.
I think I played it like once. Shocking that the villain is cheating during the backgammon.
I know, right?
Can't believe that. So Kamal Khan's there playing with some other guy, and he's just duping him out of his money with his loaded dice. At this point, Bond actually meets Magda, and she says, because he recognized her from Sotheby's, and she says to him, "You have a very good memory for faces." And we get a quip here where he says, "and figures."
Yeah, I liked that one. That was actually pretty good.
It was good. Bond eventually approaches Khan to go against him, and he bets the egg against Khan. And he knows the dice are loaded, so he uses some rule of backgammon.
Where you can use the other person's dice, apparently.
And he picks them up, puts them in the cup, throws it out, and says 12, never once looking at the dice,
even look.
which that is a badass move.
It is.
So Bond wins, and Khan writes him a check to cash or whatever. And
Khan's henchman crushes the dice into sand in his hand.
Spend the money quickly, Mr. Bond. So from there, Bond gives the egg to VJ and heads out.
So I am going to go back to when they're going to the hotel. I remember now. And he's riding with VJ, and VJ's talking about being a professional tennis instructor at the club, and how Kamal Khan is part of that club. And Bond asks him, "What have you learned since you've been there?" And VJ says, "Well, my backhand's improved." That was one of my favorite lines.
That's pretty good. VJ's great. So now we see Bond. He's going through the streets of Udaipur. Gobinda is tracking him with a shotgun that actually looked... Was that a blunderbuss? Because it had that big cone thing on
I was thinking it was called an elephant gun. I really have no idea.
You might be right.
I have no... Yeah, don't quote me on it, but... It was a wild gun with that big, it looked like a trumpet, right? Like the horn of a trumpet.
So these cars that they're in, they're called, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, tuk-tuks?
Well, Becky says tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuk?
And she's been in them in Indonesia and places like that. So I don't know.
VJ puts the vehicle into high gear. He says, well, of course it can. This is a company car.
It's a company car. Yeah, that's great. And it does a huge wheelie.
Yeah. And they did soup those up to go 60 miles an hour. That's fast.
I bet that would be terrifying.
That's like the kids that drive through our neighborhood on the golf cart that goes 60
miles. Yeah, but that only had 3 wheels.
Yes.
And it looks very top heavy and tippy if you were going 60 miles an hour.
So they're pursued by Gobinda. The guy that played Gobinda, I want to get his name real quick. Kabir Bedi. He was actually a very well-regarded actor in India. I think he had just recently started working in America also. I don't think I've seen him in anything else, but he was a good henchman. He's a really good henchman in this.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so now we have, like I said, VJ's putting it into high gear, doing its wheelie, doing all kinds of fun little jumps and stuff. Did you notice that VJ was fending off the other car with the tennis racket?
I noticed that. That was
awesome.
Pretty funny.
I think it took me the third time to really process that, but once I did, it's that is great.
And people at the time might have known who he was. I actually, when you read his last name, I recognized his name. Yeah. And so I did think that was actually pretty funny. But it's something he might have actually had with him. Yeah.
So Gobinda's taking a shot at Bond with I think you're right. We're going to call it the elephant gun. Bond escapes through the market, dodges more assassins, and we get all kinds of Indian stereotypes.
He does every type of Indian thing.
Got a guy on a bed of nails that gets off the bed of nails.
Well, he walks on coals. And he makes a little sound as if it hurts, but he has shoes on.
Still hot.
Is it, though? If people can walk on bare feet because they walk quickly, he was going fast enough.
I'm surprised he didn't walk on them in clown shoes.
All right, everyone. By next episode, we will have made a bed of coals and walked on them on shoes just to see how it is. We'll test that out.
We'll test it and we'll let you know.
We'll do that for you, our loyal listeners.
Just think they'll never know that we aren't really...
I know. Right?
Oh, wait, I got to cut this part. Okay, so we see the bed of nails, and Bond flings one of the assassins onto the bed of nails.
I mean, it looks like it hurt.
It did. We got a flame juggler there, and then we got a sword swallower, and Bond takes the sword...
Out of his mouth.
Out of his mouth.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Did you notice he hands it back to him and says, you should put that back?
Yeah, you should put that back.
That was pretty funny, actually.
Gets back in the tuk-tuk, and... to create a distraction, and he throws a bunch of money out the back, like a ton of money, and we get a quip where he says easy come easy go, but the producers, first off, there was they asked for 5,000 people to be here, if that, and there ended up being over 10,000 during this filming. Because why not? I would want to go be part of the movie. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So he tosses that money out, causes a bunch of chaos, even though the director was like, this is not real money.
Yeah.
But
do you know my biggest problem with the money throwing incident?
What's that?
He takes the money out of his jacket and he turns around to VJ and says, give me that money I gave you earlier. And he takes his pack of money and throws it all out there.
Yeah.
Bond's pack of money, Bond, who is a very rich man from all his gambling, could have thrown just his wad of money and it would have created just as much a disturbance. Did he really have to take VJ's money? I thought that was not a cool move.
Maybe he's being charitable.
Uh-huh.
I did forget a part earlier. Bond gets stabbed by one of the assassins that gets onto his tuk-tuk. And, he's saved by the money that's in his pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
And Bond has a quip there where he says, "Thank God for hard currency."
Oh, that's right.
So now they're making their escape. They drive through this poster to get away. Bond with another quip. We get a lot of quips in
That was pretty
quick
good.
succession.
I wonder if that's where they got that for Indiana Jones. Because it's very, well, I don't know which is first, actually. But that was good where they drive through there and then another poster comes down.
Which Indiana Jones was that? Was that
well,
Raiders?
when they drive into that thing and then they go to a dead end and they drive through there and then they close it back up and all the market is still there and everything and no one can figure out where
Well, if that's Raiders of the Lost Ark, that did come out before this. So
Okay,
that would
so
mean
I
Bond
wonder if
stole it from them.
Maybe they did.
Raiders of the
But
Lost
that's what I thought of.
Of the original 3 Raiders is the one I've seen the least.
Really?
I'm a big Temple of Doom fan.
I like it too, but the first one is undisputable. Anyway, I did like how they drove through there and then the poster went down.
Yeah. And Bond then says it certainly pays to advertise.
Yes.
So now we're at the local Q branch. Q's just got branches all over the world.
He really does, right? They're researching different things. They're researching some very Indian-specific things in this one.
Before we get into those, I do want to read. Roger Moore had this anecdote about working with Desmond Llewellyn. Desmond always had reams of the most impossible dialogue to utter. And if that wasn't bad enough, I would sit down with the script girl, write gobbledygook dialogue, get her to type it up, give it to John Glenn, and say, "This is the new dialogue. Give it to Desmond 1 minute before the take."
Oh
Or
my
Desmond
gosh.
fell for it every time.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Because that makes it sound like in real life they almost had the same kind of rapport they do in the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Roger
Which
Moore,
is funny.
Everything I've read, he just, and this is a pun intended, sure, he clowned around a lot.
Yeah.
Over the years, but everybody loved him. Everybody loved
that's what
working
it sounds
with him.
like.
Yeah. So now we got all these gadgets. So we start with the rope pole, where Bond says having problems keeping it up, Q.
Well, they also, did you notice when he goes in and asks for his jacket to be repaired?
Yes.
Because of the stabbing?
Yes.
And Q says, "They missed you. What a pity."
That's right. Q has some great quips.
Yes.
We then get a spiked door that's being tested by a guy named Smithers. And the spiked door crushes the dummy, and Bond says, "Smashing, Q." We get to see a homing device in an egg.
I got lots of comments on this homing device.
We'll just real quick talk about, this is kind of our only gadget, really. We get this pen that has acidic ink. I'm sure he's not going to use it in this movie. Why would...
No, he never gets a gadget that just happens to be the exact thing he needs.
That's what I want in the next Bond movie. I just want Bond to get a gadget
that he never uses. Right. Like the greatest gadget of all time, right? Like something so miraculous.
James, if you click this pin 3 times, it'll turn into a balloon and you'll float away from danger.
Exactly.
And then it never gets used. Or just falls into the water or something.
Yeah. Well, this next one eventually does get used, the liquid crystal TV.
I mean, Bond gets to use it right away with his extreme close-up. Whoa!
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. I should have... Right. When he's doing the focus back and forth, I mean, it is like the prototype, isn't it? That was pretty good.
What a pervert.
And it was a Seiko. I'm sure they paid for some kind of advertising. But liquid crystal TV, like LCD, right?
Yeah. So we're back at the hotel. Bond arrives and says his table's ready. And there's a guest waiting for him, and it's Magda. Magda says, "The egg for your life." She wants the egg. And Bond responds with a quip.
What she says, that's Khan's offer.
Yeah, Khan.
Yes,
She's working with Khan.
She's working with Khan.
Well, I heard the price of eggs was going up, but isn't that a little high?
Yeah. And he didn't even know about these days when eggs are ridiculous.
Yeah. Eventually, they do go back to the room, and we get our first slap and tickle with Magda.
Yeah, why not?
So the next day or later,
she has a nice little tattoo.
Yeah, after the slap and tickle, he sees the tattoo, the Octopussy tattoo.
That's my little Octopussy.
Yeah. We then see Kamal and Gobinda show up in a Rolls Royce. That's the Rolls Royce I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, that's nice.
Magda is getting dressed and takes the egg that has the tracker in it and leaves in a very cool manner. Goes out the window, off the balcony, like by gliding off of her sari. I think it was a sari.
That was very smooth and very cool. The way she put her hands on that the railing and then just flipped over backwards and like so silky smooth just went down there at the exact right speed. That was a very cool.
It was pretty cool.
Even though clearly Bond knew she had that egg.
Yeah.
Because it was so obvious. You'd think she would have been thinking, why isn't he looking in the mirror and seeing I have this egg behind my back? But I did love that when she... And then, of course, by that time, she's just wearing, like, a bikini.
Yes.
And Khan puts a coat around her.
So then at this point, Gobinda sneaks up behind Bond and gives Bond his 27th concussion. We really should have done a concussion count because Bond gets knocked out so many times.
We should. You'd think by Casino Royale, he definitely would have had CTE.
Right. So now we're at Octopussy's palace. Khan arrives, brings the egg to Octopussy. We get a brief cameo from Dory of Finding Nemo in the fish tank.
Yes.
And now we have the long and winding road that leads to the door of Khan's lair. Bond awakens. Khan bringing back villainous pleasantries by having Gobinda invite Bond to dinner. We get a quip from Bond here. Well, so far I can't complain about the valet service.
Yes.
He did say valet and not valet.
I did think that was interesting.
They say
right?
valet in Downton Abbey. I thought
exactly. What's going on?
Craig,
we need it. Right.
We need Craig to email us. Yeah.
English people, let us know.
Is it valet or is it valet or valet?
Maybe they changed.
Maybe
from Downton Abbey times till now, they actually changed the way they say it.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm going to guess that it's French, and the French probably say valet, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like something they would say, but what do I know?
So Khan explains during dinner how he's going to get Bond to talk. We're getting some nice, elegant meals, and then all of a sudden Bond gets a special dish of stuffed sheep's head. We're going to actually do some stuffed sheep's head.
Look delicious.
Yeah.
Speaking of Temple of Doom,
yes,
right? What does that remind you of? The monkey brains, right? Yeah.
We're going to make a stuffed sheep's head on the Blackstone later for dinner. Each of us will get one of the sheep's eyes.
I really hope that it looked like it was probably like a hard-boiled egg consistency or something, and I really hope that's what it was when he pulls that out of there and eats it. Yeah.
So Bond is escorted back to his room, sees Magda. Magda just not even blatantly checking out his butt. This isn't the first time we've had Bond's butt get checked out. Bond, of course, gets to use his gadget to break out of his room by using that acidic ink on the bars of the window to break them off.
It'll melt any metal.
Yeah. Looks in at Magda. He's thinking about, do I go back in? We have more slap and tickle. But then he shakes his head. He's like, nah, we got to do other things. Orlov arrives in a helicopter. Back to Bond. It's always convenient that the guard is asleep. So Bond is able to sneak through. Yeah. Bond uses his little egg bug to listen in on Khan's conversation with Orlov, but he can't hear the full conversation due to Magda's hairdryer.
Okay, in that scene, she saw Bond. She didn't seem to care, but do you think she did the hairdryer on purpose for some reason? Because she made a little face, if you watch it again, when she sees him trying to listen, and it made me think that she somehow knew the hairdryer would actually bother it.
Possibly.
Those are the kind of details that I think about during watching a movie, Mike.
Yeah. We get a brief little scene where we see a bomb being loaded onto a helicopter. Orlov then breaks the egg, and Khan sees the bug, so they find out they're being bugged.
Okay, isn't that the original egg, not the copy?
I believe it is the original egg.
Yeah.
So, there goes 400,000 pounds.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
Like, I think he thinks it's the fake, but I think Khan was about to say that's the real one.
Yes.
I know, that was weird. That scene I wasn't sure what to do with it.
So Bond ends up in a meat locker. There's a couple dead guys in there just hanging around.
As there will be.
Yes. Orlov leaves. Khan summons Bond. They can't find Bond. and Bond watches as the bodies are being taken away.
You got some henchmen whose job it is to take the bodies outside
Bring
and
out the
dump
dead.
them in an open pit.
Yep, he's got to bring out the dead.
Bring out the dead.
Next morning at Khan's lair, the henchmen are carrying. I guess this is all in the same time frame, but
Yeah,
it was light out at this point. So henchmen are carrying.
You're not supposed to think about these continuity issues, Mike.
This is an episode of Mike notices a continuity issue.
Right.
Instead of just enjoying the movie like Charlie should. Anyway, the henchmen.
Mike, enjoying things is not something I really subscribe to.
Yeah. The henchmen carry the dead bodies to the truck. One makes a very loud grunt. And then Khan is deciding he's going elephant hunting.
Yes.
Or I'm sorry, he's going hunting on an elephant. He may not necessarily be hunting for elephants.
I mean, the music during this, could it be any more Indian and just like so many extras running around and he's on the elephant?
Yeah. So the henchmen throw one of the bodies to the ditch or whatever, and they're about to pick up another one, and it makes this woo spooky scary sound, and Bond escapes.
That was about as goofy as it gets.
No, it wasn't. Well, it gets a little goofier
up to
very
this
soon.
point.
Very soon. So now Bond's in the jungle.
Okay, wouldn't it have been more effective to just pretend to be dead, get thrown in there, they call off the search, and then you just later that night you get out of the bag and escape?
Yeah, that might have hurt though, getting thrown off into that ditch.
Okay. More than like someone killing you?
More than your 15th concussion of the movie?
Or someone stabbing you or the elephant gun shooting at you? I mean, I don't know.
Without that, he won't get to see all these wonderful creatures. So he first encounters Shelob the spider.
Yes.
And then from there, we get a tiger. And the tiger, very helpful, obeys Bond's command. So
when
he
he
can
says
escape.
to sit.
Then we get some, snakes. So we get spiders, tigers, and snakes. Why?
Oh.
Gobinda tries to shoot Bond, but his harness was sabotaged. And then Bond gets into the jungle and, of course, finds a trusty, vine that he can swing across. And this is where we get...
You're right. This is worse.
This is on par with the slide whistle.
Yeah.
He sounds like Tarzan going across the ropes. They actually...
Vines, I assume, right?
Yeah, the vines. They paid for the sound effect from MGM. And
wow.
Yeah, I think this is worse than the slide
That
whistle.
is money wasted.
Yes.
That was very distracting.
Yeah. So 007 continues to encounter like every animal in the animal kingdom during his escape. Eventually, he does find a tour boat to escape on. Did you notice the tour boat said Cincinnati Moose Lodge 113?
I did not
Shout
notice
out
that.
to our neighboring Cincinnati. We like going down to Cincinnati. It's a good city.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a sponsorship from the Cincinnati Tourism Bureau.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. So somebody on the boat asks, "Are you with the group?" And Bond with another quip, "No, ma'am, I'm with the economy tour."
The economy tour. That was pretty good.
We're back at the local headquarters where they discuss Octopussy a bit. So Bond needs to go to Octopussy's lair. There's a line in there about
He's very disappointed he has to go there, I'm sure, right?
No man is able to go there, and he says something like, "Oh, that's sexist," so he has to go.
Yes.
So we're now at Octopussy's lair. Bond arrives inside of a crocodile.
Dude, seriously. When he sticks his face out of that crocodile. First of all, is this the Disney Jungle Cruise crocodile? Because that's how fake it looked. And when his face looks out of there, it just looks so ridiculous.
It would have been a great point for him to be puffing on a cigar. I miss the cigar so
much.
Much.
In fact, that would have reminded me of an A-Team scene where like Hannibal's...
I'm thinking that.
Yes. Because he's wearing like some weird dinosaur outfit or something and smoking a cigar, right?
That's the first episode.
Yes. Right. Nice. It's in like the opening credits. I think you see it every time. Yes. They should have had him.
And then he should have said, "I love it when a plan comes together."
If he had been smoking the cigar, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But him just looking at that crocodile's mouth looks so ridiculous.
So there's this big swanky, poolside area, and we get a butt sighting. Octopussy coming out of the water, completely naked with everybody around. That's cool, whatever. I'm not complaining.
No.
So Bond infiltrates the palace, but Octopussy sees his every move as he's going through there. This is where we actually see Octopussy.
Yeah, she has like a Ring camera.
Yeah.
On her door, and she sees when he comes in.
Yep. So this is where we see Octopussy, played by Maude Adams, from actress from The Man with the Golden Gun. And this is the other short story reference. So she's talking with Bond. She talks about her father was Major Dexter Smythe, who committed some criminal act, and Bond went to arrest him to bring him to trial for that, and gave him an option to kill himself instead of being disgraced.
Yeah, because he had double-crossed whoever he was working for.
So
right?
that was the short story, was that scene.
Oh,
it was the
wow.
actual... So, in the short story, Major Dexter Smythe did not have a daughter. The octopus was Octopussy, and that was it. In the short story, he stole gold and killed a German, his German companion or whatever. And then Bond, basically said he was going to be back. They were going to be back in a week to arrest him so that he could kill himself. But in the story, he didn't kill himself. The octopus killed him. So Octopussy got onto his face and killed him.
Oh wow!
But that was it. That was Octopussy. Was just Bond at Major Dexter Smythe's hideout in Jamaica.
I mean, at least this octopus is going to get to kill someone.
Yes. So we see Khan coming in, informing Octopussy that Bond escaped, but then she reveals that Bond was, he's there, and that she's going to take care of him. We have some...
He doesn't know what she means by take care of him.
We have some henchwomen that come in that I could not stop looking at those women and thinking of the movie The Incredibles. They looked like the outfits from the cartoon The Incredibles.
You are wrong.
Okay, here we go.
It's Thing 1 and Thing 2.
What is that from?
The Cat in the Hat, my friend.
I haven't read that since I was 4.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
I read
read
it when my son was 4. Okay, so
I was always a 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
But that's a classic as well. Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. No, I looked at Incredibles though, and then for some reason in this scene you see it.
The funny thing is, I also wrote down like Shazam or something. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For me though, also it was weird. All of a sudden, a camel toe appeared in the scene.
Right. I mean, they were tight outfits.
Yeah. You should have worn one of those instead of your.
I really
Stromberg
should
shipping.
instead of my Stromberg shipping. Maybe next time.
Yeah. So Octopussy's talking about how she got her nickname, and her dad gave her that nickname, which is kind of weird.
Disturbing.
My little Octopussy, yeah.
Disturbing.
But then we see Khan bribing some henchmen to take Bond out. Bond and Octopussy are walking and talking. We see Q and VJ are kind of scoping out things from nearby, and they're fishing while they're doing it. Bond is doing some reconnaissance where he discovers a flyer for Octopussy's circus, and he's starting to put the pieces together as to where this bomb's going to go and everything.
Right.
Octopussy says she's got to leave for Europe,
or that something's going to happen there. Yeah, I don't think he knows what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
he hasn't
just
figured.
knows something is going to happen.
Yes.
And may I speak of the hiring the henchman, the assassin scene? So first of all, he walks in and his man is talking to these guys in the bar. And he says, they say the island is heavily guarded. Kamal was just on the island. Like, this is not news to him.
Yeah.
And then he offers him a bag of, I don't know what, coins or something to hire him. And the guy says he won't do it. And he offers him another bag of coins. And then Sawblade Yo-Yo Man is on a balcony right above the table. And when they put the picture of Bond down, he does his yo-yo thing with the saw, and it saws the table. Just a bit of foreshadowing. There are going to be a lot of 2-story rooms involved in trying to assassinate Bond. Yeah. And if there weren't, I don't know what Sawblade guy would have done.
And just so you know, Sawblade Yo-Yo Man, that was not like a derogatory comment. It's literally a saw that's a yo-yo.
Yeah, and it comes back to him. Which, by the way, when the saw blade is coming back to you yo-yo style, how do you catch it exactly safely,
I was
right?
questioning that. I was wondering.
This guy is a real one-trick pony of assassinations, right? Okay, the victim must be in a 2-story room where he is located directly underneath the balcony so that I can kill him.
Octopussy reveals she's leaving for Europe, but before she does, we get Slap and Tickle number 2 with Octopussy.
Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable because she's trying to get away from him, and then she says no, but then of course she says yes because no one can resist James.
Yeah, it's the charm. So we go back to VJ, who's still fishing, and breaks my heart that he gets killed by this saw.
Because he happens to be standing next to a 2-story pier where he's fishing. Of all places he could be standing, he's standing next to a 2-story pier where Sawblade Guy can stand up there and do the yo-yo down and saw him up.
We're just going to call him the man with the silver saw from now on.
I like it.
Yeah. So the assassins infiltrate Octopussy's lair. The slap and tickle is interrupted by the man with the silver saw.
Because thank goodness she has a 2-story bedroom with a balcony walk around the top.
At this point, Bond's like, who throws a saw, honestly?
Right.
So the guy falls over the side and lands on the bed. I mean, nobody saw that coming. But
Right.
There was a stunt during this that there was a guy falling, and one of the lead stuntmen could tell that he wasn't going to land right. And he ran to him in time and kind of like pushed him so that because he was going to like break his neck.
Oh, wow.
And pushed him in such a manner that he did still break an arm, but he would have died otherwise. So one of the
An
other
arm's
stuntmen
better than a neck.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So we have this fight, and then we get some of the guys get thrown in the water, and Bond's other trusty alligator crocodile friends out there take out one of the assassins. Do you think the other crocodiles were hanging out with the fake one when he was
I know, they're like, hey, what's up, baby?
How's it going? Bond eventually sneaks away to meet Q and discovers that VJ is dead. So now Bond is in Berlin with M.
Whoa.
Okay, I missed something. That's fine.
We didn't talk about the octopus killing people.
Oh, that's right. Because the
breaks,
yes.
The tank breaks.
Yes.
And the octopus, which I'm pretty sure is now miraculously much larger than the octopus was in the tank, is really going to town on this guy's face.
Yes.
And when I say going to town, it looked to me like things were happening.
Not going to town in the biblical sense, or are you saying?
I think so. Right? I mean, it looked disturbing to me, but the octopus does get to kill someone before, I guess, it dies of being out of its tank.
Yeah. So now we're in Berlin with him. They're chatting about Orlov, and like we said, Bond's starting to piece things together. So ultimately, they realize Bond needs to go to East Germany with a cover, and we are going to pause there for our second drink.
All right.
We are back. We have a Radeberger Pilsner, which is the only beer brewed in Eastern Germany that I could find.
Right. So, there's that one qualification that we could find.
So I'll post a link to that on the show notes. But cheers.
Cheers. Well, that's a German Pilsner, all right.
It's definitely a German Pilsner. It's got that kind of that weird, not bad, but that aftertaste.
It has that taste that you just know is German
tell.
Pilsner. Yeah.
Perfectly acceptable drink, though.
Yeah.
So now we're at the circus. This was all shot in Pinewood Studios. We have the twins doing some knife throwing performances. Bond is there.
Well, wait. Bond had to get to East Germany.
Okay.
Did you notice where he went through?
He was in Berlin. Yeah.
I've been through Checkpoint Charlie.
Nice.
And walked into East Berlin.
Wow.
Through Checkpoint Charlie, which at the time had been not dismantled, but was open because they had done the monetary unification. They hadn't done the full unification yet. But yes, I walked through Checkpoint Charlie into Berlin, and I chopped off a piece of the Berlin Wall and brought it home. It was pretty wild.
Did you get a picture next to Checkpoint Charlie sign?
I might have.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'll have to look at home. Because those are like actual physical photographs that I have to actually go look at. Yeah. But, it was pretty wild. And so, I mean, it looked just like it. Yeah. So it might have been actually at Checkpoint Charlie. Obviously, he wouldn't have been able to really go through at that time.
Yeah.
But It was pretty wild to walk through Checkpoint Charlie.
Was that about 92? 91, 92?
It was 90.
90, okay.
90.
Oh, so back when you were my age. Okay.
Right. And yes. And they did the Wall, Pink Floyd did the Wall concert while I was in Germany. I was not there at that concert at that time, but we saw it live on TV. And that sign, you were leaving the American sector and everything, is the sign that was right there at Checkpoint Charlie. It was pretty wild just to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bond's at the circus. He spots Orlov. Various little circus shenanigans going on. Bond eventually follows Orlov out. A guy by the name of Dickie Graydon was the cannon performer. I think he'd done a lot of stunt work. They didn't really shoot him out of a cannon. It was just movie magic.
Oh, okay. I actually was sitting there wondering, because I think they do shoot people out of cannons, right?
I don't know how they work, honestly.
Well, I mean, they're not real cannons. I assume it's like a platform you're standing on that pushes you out and you go into the net. But
now, I remember, like, back in the day, there was this guy that would tour around in circuses where he would have a cannonball shot into his stomach.
Didn't he do that on the Lollapalooza tour when he was on tour with Smashing Pumpkins?
Cypress Hill, Smashing Pumpkins, yeah.
Oh, Homer Simpson.
Gogol arrives, removes the jewels from the train, discovers the Romanov star is a fake. So we then go to Octopussy, Orlov, and Khan examining the real Romanov star. While this is going on, Bond hitches a ride under the train. Roger Moore said he would only do this scene if the director also did it. So the director also had to get under the train and do that in order for...
Oh, so that was actually Roger Moore under there. Wow.
Yeah, just for some parts of it,
Yeah.
So we see the nuke loaded onto a train car where some random Russian dork is explaining how to set the bomb.
Right.
Bond is following the train. Then we get Octopussy, Orlov, and Khan chatting on the train.
Now, how's Bond following the train?
We're not that part yet.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. We're not quite there yet. Honestly, this whole part was stretched out too long. Yeah. Octopussy, Orlov, and Khan are chatting on the train. Khan leaves. After a brief battle, Bond takes out one of the Doublemint twins and puts him in a cannon. Orlov arrives at that train with Bond, and Bond interrogates him, and we get our exposition about, the plot to blow up the U.S. base with a nuke. And
Orlov driving in a Mercedes.
Okay.
Which to me, I'm thinking, why is a Russian general driving a Mercedes? Yeah. But that I'll have something else to say about that.
All right. So Bond realizes that they're not going to be able to blame the explosion, the nuke, on a Russian, so that it'll cause chaos. Which, again, this Orlov's a psychopath.
Is this after Bond was already dressed in the gorilla outfit?
This was around that time. No, we're not there yet because Bond gets up onto the top of the train.
Yeah.
Okay. Bond takes out the shooters. Orlov escapes. And Bond's in a car using the old Diamonds Are Forever trick to escape on two wheels at one point, where he's up on two wheels again. His tires get balded, and he takes the car onto the train tracks.
Yeah, the tires go over like one of those stick type things and get flat, and he goes onto the train tracks. Which, by the way, the first thing I thought is, what are the odds that the axle width of a car is the exact same as train tracks? And by the way, they are not.
They are not. Yeah. They had to make them specifically for this.
Yeah.
Bond eventually, using a trusty umbrella, is able to keep the car moving while he jumps over onto the train.
Thank goodness that umbrella was in the back seat right there.
And then the car gets thrown off and into the water.
Well, he's on a parallel track, and another train comes and smashes.
Yeah, smashes it off. You're right. Bond is Bond's hiding in a gorilla suit on the train while Gobinda's talking to one of the other twins. Or the other twin.
So, yeah, in a gorilla suit, just like Clarence Beeks ends up in Trading Places.
Literally 2 bullet points away.
Is that right?
Bond doing his best Trading Places bit by hiding as a gorilla. Because we get a brief scene of Gogol looking for Orlov in between.
Thankfully, he doesn't end up in a cage with a real gorilla like they do on that.
I have not seen that in a long time.
Oh, man, it's good.
So Gogol hunts down Orlov. Orlov's trying to escape, and he just gets gunned down as he's trying to jump onto the back of the train car.
Yeah. Now, Gogol is in as you would think a good Russian general is in a Russian car, a Volga M24.
Okay.
which is a Russian-made car made for like somewhat fancy people. And when I looked it up online, there are several YouTube videos of people driving these cars and talking about how, like, laughing at how funny they are.
Mm-hmm.
But some Russian people commented, you wouldn't think it's funny if you saw a black one of those show up in front of your apartment building at night, because apparently that meant the KGB was there.
Oh, man.
But yes, because I thought, why would Orlov be in a Mercedes, right? But he wasn't a good Russian general, right? He was in it for himself and starting this thing. But yes, so a Volga.
I mean, let's be honest. Orlov, I think, is like one of the worst villains ever. The guy's a psychopath. He's a goober, and then he just gets gunned down at the end. So
he really does.
So now we have.
But he thinks, you know, when Gogol finds him and he calls him a common criminal and says, "But tomorrow, I will be a Soviet hero."
Yeah, not so much.
No.
So now we have Khan, Gobinda, and the twin plotting and setting the bomb. Gobinda notices
inside the cannon.
Yeah, and Gobinda thinks that there's somebody in that gorilla suit, so he goes over and chops the head off. And fortunately, Bond, how'd he get out that quick?
How easy is it to get out of a gorilla suit, I ask you, Mike?
B, we see him climbing up onto the top of the train. Clearly, Mission Impossible, the first Mission Impossible movie, took their inspiration from this movie. I mean, when I think Mission Impossible, I definitely also think Octopussy. They're the same serious tone.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bond really could have used a hoverboard at this point.
Oh,
as he was off the side of it.
Yes.
I think that was credited to the Countess Tracy that made that joke when we were watching it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So then we have Bond looking in the windows, being a peeping Tom. Khan sends Gobinda up to fight outside the train.
Well, Octopussy's getting a massage, as you will.
As you will on a train.
As you will on your train.
But yeah, Bond and Gobinda are fighting on the outside of the train, and then Grishka joins in on the fun. And then Bond jumps off with Grishka and just leaves Gobinda up there.
I think that would hurt more than like the guys tossing you into the little ditch.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
I think that would hurt.
Yeah. Bond gets to some shack or something, and Grishka stops him with knives. Why didn't he just put a knife in his heart right then and there and movie over Bond's death?
It's more fun to stab his shirt.
Yeah. But Bond does eventually get his revenge on the Double Mint Twin in Revenge for 009, that clown.
Yes.
So now we're at the circus parade with the bomb. We go back and forth between the circus and Bond trying to get to the circus. Bond's trying to hitch a ride. He's clearly too old for this running stuff. They should have had you as the stunt double because you're obviously a very successful runner. You could have handled running to
Oh, yeah. Circus. I could look like I actually know how to run. Yeah. Possibly. I don't know. Yeah. Craig can tell me.
Some kids drive up and say that they'll give him a ride, and then as he gets close, the little a-holes don't let him, and they just drive off. And apparently that idea, John Glenn, the director, had an experience exactly like that. So that's why that's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Bond finally does hitch a ride with some Germans eating sausage and drinking beer.
I mean,
that's my kind of
get any more German than that?
That's awesome. Yeah. They get to this little town, which was a set that had recently been built for another movie, but they used it for this one. Bond steals a car because there's a woman that's in the phone booth, and he's trying to get to the phone booth. I think he's gonna
she won't let him talk. Another Clarence Beeks reference.
Oh yeah, that's right. These might have come out at the exact same time. I think. Maybe. I think Trading Places was 83 also.
Yeah.
We'll look that up.
He has a little phone booth issue as well.
He does. What's his line?
I don't know if we can say it on this podcast.
I need to get the little beep effect.
F off.
So anyway, this woman won't get off the phone, so Bond just steals her car, and this is an Alfa Romeo GTV6.
Alfa Romeo.
I'm sorry, Alfa Romeo. This is what happens when I don't.
And what are the cops driving?
BMW 520S.
Yeah.
That's or is it what they drive in Germany. Or is it BMW 520s? I don't know if the S was a category. Yeah. But like I said with that set, it was a Pinewood set, that Bavarian village. So Khan is chatting with the U.S. officers. One of those officers is an actor by the name of Richard Leparmentier. He also appeared in Star Wars and Roger Rabbit.
No, come on.
The first Star Wars movie, the one that's giving Darth Vader lip about spare us your sorcerer's ways. Oh. And then gets choked by Vader. Yeah. That's him.
He's The force choke guy?
He's the force choke guy.
Wow.
And then late in Roger Rabbit, he is the guy that comes to Eddie Valiant's office to tell Eddie Valiant that Marvin Acme was killed. And
Is that Bob Hoskins?
Yes.
Do you know how many times I've seen Roger Rabbit?
Probably one.
One time. In the theater.
I'm going to do a...
Give me credit for that.
Okay,
I saw it in the theater.
Good. I'm going to do a plug here. I'm actually going to be appearing on Movie Night Extravaganza with Conan Neutron to discuss Roger Rabbit in December. I'm excited and nervous.
You know what? Maybe I'll watch the movie again and listen to that podcast.
It's on YouTube also. So you would actually get to see
my gosh,
face.
an actual video? Oh,
yeah.
My gosh. But I see your face right now.
I know. So Khan and Gobinda are driving away from the bomb, and we see Bond driving towards the circus. Bond arrives at the base, gets questioned, and still drives on through. And because of this, the guard lets the German police come onto the U.S. base.
Right.
Seems like there would be other,
I thought
American
of that too. I'm like,
police that would do that. Yeah. So from there, this is where it gets really fun because Bond needs to hide. He goes into a dressing room and he comes out looking like a clown. He is dressed fully, which, I mean, we're talking like...
And when you say literally...
Yes, he is
literally a clown.
And we're talking... He got everything on fast. I feel like that white makeup...
I was going to say, Mike, you, speaking as a person who's never been dressed as a clown before, how long do you suspect it would take to put on the clown outfit and that makeup and the detail of the little black teardrop thing under your eye and the perfect like red mouth thing?
Well, first...
Because we have 5 minutes till the bomb's about to blow up the world.
Yes. First, though, I have been dressed like a clown. It's one of my earliest memories. And Halloween, when I was like 4 or 5, I was dressed like a clown.
You know, Mike, it's acceptable as a 4 or 5-year-old.
Yes. Not as the world's #1 spy.
No. I mean, I guess that's the only way he's going to get in there, right? But I feel like maybe...
You may be surprised to learn that Roger Moore was not a fan of this idea either.
Yeah, I can imagine. I wouldn't have been either.
Okay. So anyway, the clown James Bond gets into the circus, tells the general there's a bomb in the trunk, and then the generals just laugh, oh, ha, 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 you're just a clown. But then he takes off his nose and stuff and says he's British Secret Service, and then they take it seriously. Octopussy sitting next to the general, so
did you notice when Octopussy did the stealing the wallet trick on him?
That was Magda, but yes.
Oh, Magda. Did you notice he had that giant wallet?
Yes.
My father always carried a giant wallet like that, which he carried like on the inside pocket of his suit coat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like double tall, that folded out, huge wallet. That is what my father had.
Did your father at one point have the badge? Did he have a badge?
Well, yeah, he was an FBI special agent.
Yeah.
So he had a badge. He had to carry a gun somewhere in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're having some back and forth here. Eventually they get to the, they're trying to get the bomb opened. Octopussy, very smartly shoots the lock to get the get to the bomb.
What could go wrong?
And then, Bond's disabling it. And of course, why didn't they disable it with 007 left? They did that in Goldfinger. Why didn't they do it here?
They should have.
But they just did it at 1 second. And it's done. So, day saved. Orlov's dead.
And they announce in the tent immediately, everything is all right now.
Yes.
There's just a nuclear weapon right in the middle of this tent. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So now we're at Khan's lair, where Khan and Gobinda are preparing to jet set away. Octopussy and her henchwomen infiltrate Khan's lair.
In the most awesome way possible.
Oh, yeah. Doing like somersaults and stuff and kicking.
And standing on each other in a human pyramid. Yes.
That was a pretty cool scene. We do get get our appearance by the drunk guy that does a double take at his bottle when he sees all this going on.
Yes. Oh, that reminds me. Do you know what I forgot to mention? We forgot to mention in India? When they do the back and forth thing like tennis.
Yes, I did.
When they're doing the chase, I forgot about that. Yeah. And they show the people looking one way, then the other, and they hear the noise of the crowd. We forgot that.
Yeah,
you
so-
can edit that back into that part.
we'll
Everyone, just pretend you heard that
Yeah.
a while back.
We'll get angry letters. Or people will be typing out angry letters. They forgot about that tennis part. But then they listen to the rest.
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, they got it. The best part of the movie.
Yeah. Okay, so, Octopussy confronts Khan. He says that he was going to give Octopussy money the whole time, but he was, obviously lying, and then he gets the better of her. We cut back to the henchwomen all fighting. Then Bond and Q arrive via hot air balloon.
It's the most efficient form of transportation.
Did they fly from East Germany?
And it's super accurate form of transportation. You can land a hot air balloon on a dime, right? Because it's not like subject to the whims of the wind in which direction it's blowing or anything like that.
You ever been in a hot air balloon?
Oh gosh, no. I have no intention of ever going in one.
Me neither.
Did you notice also that Khan's lair happens to have a trapeze in the courtyard that one of the women used?
Always
it's
helpful.
Convenient
Always
that
helpful.
the trapeze was there. Yes, I thought so.
So Bond's talking to Q. I trust you can handle this contraption, Q. And Q responds, it goes by hot air. And so Bond responds, oh, then you can.
Yes. And he's got the liquid crystal display
Oh, okay, yes.
on his, and he's somehow, they have cameras on the ground in Khan's lair and they're seeing what's happening with all the fighting.
Always convenient.
Yes.
So now we get some fighting inside of Khan's lair. Bond shows he has balls of steel by sliding down that banister. Honestly, that was a cool shot.
That was a cool shot.
Yeah, him shooting at everybody as he's sliding down the banister, and then he shoots the.
He shoots
fix the newel post.
Newel post, exactly. Yes.
So Gobinda knocks out Octopussy, and they take her away on horseback, because you got to get on a horse to get to your plane. I guess.
Well, Khan had said, "Are the horses ready?"
Yeah.
Earlier.
So weird.
Okay.
Q's floating in, knocks out a henchman, and then gets surrounded by ladies. And then Q says, "There's no time for that. Later perhaps."
Yes.
Good old Q with some
That was
slap and
pretty
tickle. He doesn't.
But
have
that's obviously what women do, right? In any situation, groups of young women definitely fawn over any man that comes in to save them and offer their services to that man. As we know, that is how women behave.
What they don't know that we know is that he can't get it up.
Or keep it up.
Keep it up.
Yes, exactly. Wow.
Okay, so now we get the plane escaping.
This is getting bad.
Yeah, we get the plane escaping with Khan, Gobinda, and Octopussy. Bond catches up to the plane on horseback.
The fastest horse on... So, Mike, in my copious research for this podcast, I looked up the maximum speed of a horse. What would you guess the maximum speed of a horse is?
25-ish?
No. 44.
Oh, 44, okay.
But I feel like airplanes can reach 44 miles an hour pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to catch up on a horse.
Bond gets onto the plane, and Mission Impossible, once again, stole from this movie, because Bond is like holding onto the plane as it's taking off, and it reminds me of, I want to say, Rogue Nation, where Tom Cruise is on the side of the plane as it's taking off. Now, granted, it was a big jumbo jet, but still, same concept. Thieves.
It did. I mean, do you know whether they did actual stunts on the airplane? Because some of it looked pretty real, not the Roger Moore shots.
Yeah. I mean, they do. They always try to do, real stunts like that. So, Khan tells Gobinda to get up on the plane.
No, he says, "Go out and get him," and he goes, "Out there?" Like, I think that's when you
Khan at that point.
That's when you'd start to question, like, wait a minute, I'm the henchman, and I could kill this guy with one chop, and he's telling me to go out on the side of a plane. Why am I listening to this guy?
No pension is worth this.
Exactly right. The Kamal Khan retirement plan is not good enough.
I get great health care and some good benefits, but no, I'm not getting on top of a plane.
Going out on a plane.
Octopussy tries to stop him. He just gives her a judo backhand. So Gobinda is up on there.
I really want to know if a judo chop can knock somebody out, because I feel like you, from those chops in the movie, I feel like you'd just go, "Ow, don't do that."
Right. So they're fighting on top of the plane, and Kapinda gets hit with an antenna and falls off the plane and dies.
That is pretty good, yeah.
Kind of an unceremonious death for a pretty good henchman.
Yeah.
Bond,
It's too bad that stuntman had to die just to make that movie.
So Bond gets onto the plane, gets Octopussy off the plane.
Thank you.
And Khan crashes into the side of the mountain. Because the plane's kind of like trying to land and stuff. So they like jump out.
Yeah, it's going over the top of a mountain and it's about to go off the side.
Because Bond like messed with the flap.
Yes.
On the outside.
He did.
Yeah.
I think that's a flap. On the back, on the tail.
Yeah.
And as we all know, planes don't go that fast. When you jump out of one and you just roll, you're probably going to be fine.
Yes. Not that fine, as we'll see in a minute.
You're right. Sort of.
So now we're back with... so the day is saved. It's all over. We have Gogol and M drinking, chatting together, and they negotiate the return of the Romanov star to the Russians. It's a good thing Bond was British, because the British clearly had a better relationship with the Russians than the Americans
I
do.
know, right? Well, I mean, it's clear that the people making the movie were not intent on making the Russians the bad guys in this movie. Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love Gogol in these movies. He's great.
Oh, yeah, he's great. And he gets all the hot chicks.
Yeah. So now Bond, once again, finishes the movie on a boat.
Of course he does. A boat where they like to say in, out, as they're rowing.
I believe, once again, you can thank Countess Tracy for pointing that out for me.
Yes.
I wasn't connecting that.
Oh, I noticed.
But Bond miraculously recovers from, like, he's got the whole, you know, the
he's in traction.
Yeah,
he's in traction on a boat because obviously you have all of the supplies to be in traction on a boat like that.
But then he recovers for Slap and Tickle.
Yeah.
That's it.
In 1 second.
Yep. Hopefully, Slap and Tickle was more than 1 second. Otherwise, Octopussy's very disappointed. But that's it. That's Octopussy. What a movie.
Yes, what a movie.
Okay, so some trivialities. Oh, I actually did have a note here. Orlov's car was a Mercedes 280 SE.
Right.
Here's a great one.
A non-Russian car.
Yes. The first draft of the movie. Blofeld returns.
You're kidding.
M is assassinated. Moneypenny gets fired, and Bond gets framed as a double agent.
Oh my gosh, I kind of want to see that movie.
I do too. That sounds kind of good. At this point, Roger Moore was still film by film. Ultimately, he was persuaded to return one last time. Spoiler alert, this was not his last movie.
No.
So we had some other auditions for actors since he was still film by film. Oliver Tobias, I don't really know much about him. Michael Billington, who actually was Triple X's lover in The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, right. He got killed like immediately.
Yeah. And here's the interesting one. James Brolin. I'll put the YouTube video up, but he tested really well.
Really?
But Cubby Broccoli didn't want an American, which is completely understandable.
Yeah, I get it.
His son, 1 year later, would star in one of the greatest movies of all time, The Goonies. Josh Brolin. And we kind of already discussed it, but Never Say Never Again came out the same year. That movie was produced by a guy by the name of Jack Schwartzman. He is the husband of Talia Shire and the father of Jason Schwartzman.
Really?
There you go. When we go on our Wes Anderson journey, hint, hint, we'll get to talk a lot about Jason Schwartzman. Book comparisons, I pretty much went through them during the episode. So really, no India, no Kamal Khan, no Orlov, no VJ, nothing. It was very basic. So
I can see where they got the kernel of the plot, though.
Yeah.
I can definitely imagine guys sitting around in a room having read that short story and just going, but what if?
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts and rating. As with all Bond movies at this point, since I watch them so much, I like them a little better each time I watch them. But this is still an incredibly goofy movie.
It's goofy.
The clown stuff drives me up the wall. What I liked VJ a lot.
Yeah, I like VJ.
Q's amazing as always.
Yep.
A lot, again too, like the first hour really is actually a very, very good Bond movie. But then it just starts to go off the rails.
I mean, do you feel like if he had not dressed as a clown? I mean, honestly, even if they had the circus and he didn't dress as a clown, do you feel like that is such a big goofy thing that it would make a difference?
It's just like the most memorable thing from the movie.
Well, I know.
Because of how
That's
bad
what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
But then you got the Tarzan thing too, which
The
is
Tarzan
kind of
is
goofy.
bad. Yeah.
So just some choices that
I know, but the funny thing is, like, those are very small parts of the overall movie, but they do stand out as so goofy that you're like, my gosh, if they did like two things differently, it would have been just a regular James Bond movie.
I mean, in The Man with the Golden Gun, if they didn't have the slide whistle and the corkscrew,
Right.
it might have been like top 3 for me. But whatever. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. It's still fun. I have no issue rewatching it, but I can't. I mean, the silliness of parts of it. And plus, it's 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And they really could have cut 20 minutes pretty easily on
A
this
lot
one.
of the train stuff
Yeah.
was, for one thing, they actually made it very confusing about how they were switching the jewels and the bomb around.
Yeah.
Like even when I watched it the second time, I'm like, wait, what are they putting in where? Like it actually was, you didn't need to see them doing all that stuff. They could have made it much easier.
Yeah.
But
so for me, that puts this one at 12 out of 13. Because you know that Diamonds Are Forever is.
you're going to keep it as your worst for now.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your rating?
Well, I'm going to give it a 3 stars. I mean, it was still entertaining, right? It isn't a bad movie. It is goofy that he dresses as the clown, and I wish if they hadn't had that and the Tarzan thing was unforgivable.
Yeah.
The clown thing you can almost justify.
At least they showed the clown at the beginning, I'll give it that they kind of,
And there's an actual reason he's doing it because they all know what he looks like.
Yes.
But they could have come up with something else than a clown. But whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, 3, which also puts it right above Diamonds Are Forever for me too.
So we're 12th for both of these.
I actually thought that the women were pretty good.
Yes. The Magda, Octopussy.
Yeah.
And the henchwomen. All of her
the acrobats. They were pretty awesome.
Theme song. All-time high.
Maybe not.
Definitely not for me. I'm putting it dead last. I think I like Moonraker better than All-Time High.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
No.
I mean, even From Russia with Love is kind of bad, but
it's not.
It's tough for me.
I'm going to put it at 10th.
Okay.
I mean,
so what do you have?
We're quibbling over like 2 spots.
Yeah,
right?
but still. You have Moonraker. We both have Moonraker last. What's the next one up for us both?
Well, for me, I have it right below The Man with the Golden Gun, and you have it right below Moonraker, I guess. Yeah. So I didn't think it was as bad as Moonraker.
You know what? I'm going to change my mind right now. You're right. It's not as bad as Moonraker.
Moonraker is just Moonraker. As you're listening to it, you can't even remember how it goes during the middle of the song. It's so bad.
I'm gonna I'm gonna put it 11th. I'm still putting it below From Russia with Love, but I think that's because I like that movie a lot better too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So slap and tickle count, we're up to 29. Bond and a boat count, we're up to 9. 9 out of 13 movies, Bond ends up on a boat.
That is
I
crazy.
think it's gonna start tailing off.
That's what I get the impression.
But our next episode is A View to a Kill. Speaking of songs, are we going to continue?
Spoiler alert!
Are we going to continue the trend of
This song is slightly better than this one.
I'm going to slight spoiler alert here. I have been listening to that song constantly over the last couple weeks. I actually watched A View to a Kill on my plane ride back from Philadelphia. I'm still going to watch it 3 more times, but I decided I went ahead and watch it because I hadn't seen it in forever. So we'll see. We'll see where that one ends up. But I think that'll do it. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Mike.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bottled in Bond. If you'd like to send us a message, you can do so at bottledinbondpod@gmail.com. Till your next briefing, pour yourself a drink, light a smoke, and find yourself a spirited companion. Goodbye.